Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Sir, myself, Professor Manoj Verma, I am Deputy Director, HRDC.
Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah. Actually, Professor Bharatandu is in one meeting, so he will join maybe 5-10 minutes.
No problem. Yeah. So what time we have to start the session, sir?
Within 1 or 2 minutes, sir. Now, 1:30 our session is there, already 1:30 exactly. 1 or 2 minutes we will wait, sir.
Sure.
Participants are joining. We will start.
How many participants are there?
Sir, 24 participants are there.
And what faculties they belong to often?
So they are mixed. Some is science, some is social science, like this, because this is a orientation course. So all the
Correct.
faculty, they are new only, joining within 3, 4, 6 months maximum. Within 1 year, they have to complete one orientation.
Correct. And they are all from Mizoram University or from other universities?
Not Mizoram. Mizoram University, only 2 or 3 are there. Maximum are from outside. Assam, someone is from Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Manipur, and West Bengal. So like this is scattered. Yeah.
So my session is up to 3 o'clock. Okay.
3 o'clock.
We may have question and answers at the end, perhaps, as the system.
Yeah, sir. Actually, they are in participant are in webinar mode. They will, if they have some doubt question, they are putting in the chat box and question and answer box. We will take up, sir.
Okay, so you will be coordinating, or Bhartendra ji will be coordinating?
Either me or he will be there.
Or he will be there, no? Right? So what I will try to do is that in last 10 minutes, I will open the session for questions, and somebody may coordinate one by one, questions may be raised, and I may answer them. So in the meantime, in order to save time, let me share the screen, okay? So that 2 minutes I can save. Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible, sir.
Sure. So I'll just wait for your.
Now I am going to introduce you, sir, to the participant, and after that I will hand over to you. So, dear participant, good afternoon. Today, after lunch session, we are very privileged. We have Professor G. Soral, the former professor, head of department, dean, Sukhadia University, Udaipur, and former professor head, Mizoram University, Aizawl. Sir is the founder head of the commerce department of the Mizoram University, and very renowned professor, and having the thorough knowledge. And today, sir is going to share about his expertise on the national education policy, and how to implement, what is the difficulty to implement with the faculty, especially as a teacher, what problem we are going to face and how we will handle this problem. So, sir, on the behalf of the HRDC Mizoram University, I welcome you in this 5th FIP program. And we are very much thankful that you have managed your time to share your rich experience with our participant. With this, I welcome you, sir, and now I am handing over the session to you for your lecture, sir.
Thank you, Director, sir, and welcome participants. I take this opportunity to wish all of you a great academic career. I was just told that all of you are recent joinees in the academic field as assistant professors in various universities. Most of you, as I was told, belong to the Seven Sisters universities, including Mizoram University. And some of you are from West Bengal and other universities. As you have seen about my profile, I have spent most of my time in teaching career. Now at the moment I'm superannuated already. I belong to the western part of the country, Udaipur, Rajasthan. You may be knowing the place from where I am addressing you today. But my good luck is that I spent, quite a sufficient time in Mizoram University. And as I was introduced, I have been the founder member of the Commerce Department there. So that way I have a good feel of the northeast part of the country. And I would say, yeah, like our Prime Minister these days are often saying that I mean, this is one of the most beautiful parts of our country. And there is a policy of the central government, I mean, to focus on Northeast at the moment. There, you all, I am sure, are going to contribute a lot in nation building, particularly in the Northeast part of the country. Dear friends, this is the topic which I decided when I was called for addressing you today. And you all may be aware about the NEP, as we often call it, colloquially. 2020 was the year when NEP was proposed by the government, and that was the Corona period, Since then, a lot of discussions on NEP went on, and by now, the central government, particularly the University Grants Commission, have already started implementation of NEP, of course, gradually. Now, the point for our discussion today is that what implications we as faculties have to face regarding the NEP. Let me at the outset tell you that any education policy, so far as its implementation is concerned, will almost fully depend on the faculty members like you. The faculty members are the torch runners for imparting education. They are also the administrative heads of the academic side of various universities and colleges. Therefore, to understand the implications for faculty members of NEP is very significant. What I have tried to do here is that I have picked up certain crucial areas of the NEP, and one by one I will be discussing those areas with regard to the faculty implications. The plan of the session would remain this way, that I'll continue my delivery till 10 minutes to 3. That means up to 2:50 p.m. I'll continue my delivery, and would encourage all of you to ask good number of questions. I was told that the system here is that you will be putting your questions into the chat box, and then when I'll open the session for question answer, one of the coordinators will ask the questions, reading them from the chat, and that time I would request the coordinators to permit the person asking question to switch on the video, so that I can look at the person also, and face-to-face communication is more effective. So dear friends, that way we'll have sufficient time for discussion on this issue. So do put your questions into the chat box, whatever comes to your mind regarding any query on the points which I will be raising, or anything that you have in your mind. I'll try my best to satisfy all your queries. I always deem it a great privilege to address any induction program like this, for particular reason that this is my own fraternity. Okay, like you have recently joined, I have recently got retired. So we have almost 38, 39 years gap in between. Maybe our age also, or maybe our teaching experience also. So for me, I mean, to see all of you rising in the career, learning about the things and holding the baton with your strong and strengthful hands is definitely a great pleasure. So with that, let me now begin one by one the points which I just wanted to share with you. Let me begin with this. I mean, as you may be aware, this is the most important, point in the NEP. The GER is targeted to be 50% by 2035 in our country. 50% is a pretty high target. It is at the moment, it's 27, 28% somewhere. In fact, when the policy was launched, it was little 1% less. In this vast country with all difficulties of resources, geographical situations and all, to achieve this target may not be easy. Okay, but this is the national policy, as you know, and you in any case are convinced that once we will achieve this target, we believe it is going to help the country in a very big way. Particularly, the call by the Prime Minister of India that this is the Amrit Kal, as he says, of the last 25 years of the centenary that we are going to celebrate in 2047. And the target given by the Prime Minister is, let India be a developed country by that time. At the moment, we are not developed. Of course, our economy is rising. Okay, they say that now we are the 4th largest. Okay, we still are trying to grow. There, this GER is going to play a very crucial role. So I consider this to be one of the most important aspects of the NAP. Now, how do we teachers look at it? Right? If we really want to achieve this target, we have to ensure good quality education, both in the modes of distance and, non-distance, or you may call it face-to-face education. Because if the quality of education improves, you may understand youngsters would be attracted towards higher education more and more in number. Now, a more intricate question here may be, what do we call to be a good quality education? Okay, now this point may be elaborated in detail. What may be a good quality education? All of you are very recent in the teaching profession. You all must have been bright students in your academic career. During your graduation, post-graduation, PhD, possibly you might have done already or not, or doing now. You must have been a bright student. And from that perspective, if I ask you, what is good quality of education? What do you relish to be there in the education? You may have several things to tell. That the curriculum should be good, the delivery should be good, the examination patterns should be, really justifying the evaluation. The education should give the candidate a holistic personality development opportunity, right? To make a few points. All such things and others must be taken care of if we really want to improve the GER. So dear friends, to ensure the good quality of education, it is you, the faculty members, who have to focus on these issues so that GER can be increased. Another suggestion which I would like to put here and would like to sensitize you all is about digital community centers. To elaborate this point, I would say that, you see, as teachers, when impart education, particularly the distance and online education, which has now become famous, particularly after the Corona period. In the online education, we face in the country, in fact, almost all parts of the country, a great digital divide, which is there in the Northeast also, apparently, but it is not confined to Northeast only. Countrywide is the same situation. You name any place. That because of the digital divide, we are not in a position to access, with education facilities, large number of Indian youth population. So one possibility which we teachers can focus is that in our nearby areas, wherever we find that digital divide is quite high. That means the rural and maybe tribal people do not have adequate facilities of ICT, right? Let us think of establishing in those remote areas digital community centers. They are like the digital cafe, you may call them. Say in a remote village of Meghalaya, where you find that no ICT facilities, particularly youth do not have that enough. We may establish a digital community center. Maybe it's a hall which is having good internet connectivity, Wi-Fi connection. Maybe we can put there some systems, and it's a community center. People may come here, come at that place, join any online resource for education purposes. Okay, such digital community centers, to my mind, if are spread it all over the country, particularly in the remote, far-flung areas, we definitely would be more comfortable in ensuring the achievement of this 50% GER. Going to the next point, you must be aware that NEP is talking about multiple entry and exit facility to be given to students in higher education in particular. Now, what does it mean? It means, say for example, graduation. The NEP says we should make the life of undergraduate students comfortable by providing them the facility of entering into graduation multiple times and exiting from the graduation also multiple times. Like for example, somebody is entering after passing out his senior secondary, his or her senior secondary, into the first year graduation. And then after first year, the candidate is leaving. Right, he makes an exit. Then say after third semester, the candidate again joins. Then after fourth semester, the candidate again exits. Then the fifth semester, he again joins. And this joining and entering into the system has varied timings also. Like somebody who has completed his first 2 semesters now doesn't feel like continuing with the education for the moment because he may be needing some, resources, economic resources for his family. So he may leave the graduation process for 2 years. After 2 years, is again joining the third semester. And the same story may be repeated after fourth semester. Right? Now, that is the meaning of multiple entry and exit. You may be knowing, like it was existing in the system earlier, that such facility was not available to the undergraduate students in particular. Of course, it applies to other courses also, but we are taking example of the undergraduate students. Now, in order to implement it, right, what are the points that the faculty should appreciate? First is the academic bank of credits. They also used to call it ABC. Actually, it has already been implemented, this aspect, by the central government now, but we as faculty members must appreciate what it is. Now they have an academic bank of credit. Any student studying in any university or college in the country may earn certain credits from some course, deposit them into this academic bank online with his identity and the name and enrollment number. Later on, the person may go to various places in the country, for example, may move from university to university, earn more credits, and deposit them into the bank and go to the third place. Likewise, once the credits are completed to justify a graduation, the person may be granted graduation degree. Right? So this is one implication which is very important. Another is that once you are permitting this type of multiple entry and exit and movement of the person from one place to the other, and only credits are to be totaled from various sources, standardized curriculum by a central agency is a must. Right? Because you see, credits may be similar as per the governing University Grants Commission or some other body. But the curriculum, if is not standardized over all universities, it would become difficult to provide required flexibility to the candidates. Then, uniformity in weight and rigor of the curriculum is also required. So, as you know that the entire system of providing education has to be devised by the faculty members. So the faculty members should be aware that weightage in the course and rigor of the course curriculum should also be standardized across various universities and colleges, so that the academic bank of credits, when gathers credits from various sources, right, really is in a position to sum up them because they are relatively comparable and all. Okay, so this is important. Then uniformity in examination systems are also required. Again, for the same reason, that because credits from various sources are going to be clubbed together to make the requirement of degree complete, it is essential that examination systems by and large over various universities and colleges should remain uniform. Okay, going to the next one. Friends, the policy says that the affiliation system is to phase out in next 15 years in the country. Of course, this 15 is from 2020. Already 2 years have crossed. Now, you are new teachers into the system. Let me explain to you what does it mean. Friends, you may be aware that the authority of awarding degrees in India, particularly, is with the universities. Okay, take the example of Mizoram University itself, or Guwahati University, Nehu, Shillong, etc. Calcutta University, Calcutta, Bengal. Now, the university has the authority of awarding degrees, but it is costly and resource required to establish a university. Therefore, there are colleges, you know, in the surroundings of the university, and as per jurisdiction decided by the law, these colleges are affiliated to the university. Right? Now, many of you may be posted in affiliated colleges, so you may be having an idea about it now. And some of you may be posted in the university system also. NEP says that this affiliation system has to phase out in next 15 years. That means by around 2035. Now, before that, I unravel some points which I have gathered here for discussing with you. Just, I would wish that you just meditate over this thing. What happens when affiliation system is phased out? Right? Like, just suppose some college, like there is a college in Aizawl also, and maybe there are more, because my knowledge is about 15 years old regarding Aizawl. That time when I was there, 2005, I left Aizawl. I think 1 or 2 colleges only were there. Now there are maybe many. These colleges are affiliated with Mizoram University. Therefore, Mizoram University is providing curriculum to these colleges. Mizoram University is providing examination support to these colleges, and it's also providing result declaration and other things to these colleges. Now imagine that if this system of affiliation is withdrawn, and from all over the country it is withdrawn, what implications are going to be there? Very important implications. The first one is that the promotion of out-of-box thinking by colleges is required now. All those colleges which are in the affiliation system earlier have to now think about the solutions to stand on their own legs without support of university. And in that regard, they need a lot of out-of-box thinking, what we term as the creative thinking. Because newer methods have to be devised by the colleges to stand on their own legs without any affiliation. Infrastructure of these colleges, because when the system phases out, colleges will be really got affected, because sorry, the NEP says that no affiliated college will exist. So either universities will exist or autonomous colleges will exist. That means all such institutions which will remain after this 15 years period indicated will be independent institutions. Therefore, teaching and non-teaching vacancies are must to be filled. Because if enough number of teachers as are required are not there in the college, or the non-teachers are also not required, ministerial staff, clerical staff, then how will you manage the show? And appropriate and comprehensive training of personnel, I also would like to tell you, is required, and the faculties must be ready for it. That if you want to make the colleges autonomous or merging with the university system, the entire staff has to be properly trained, as it mentioned, in an appropriate and comprehensive manner. Right? So then only this target of NEP can be achieved. Fine. Going to the next point. Formative rather than summative assessment. It's a major breakthrough point in NEP, that NEP demands that the assessments must not be summative, they should be rather formative. What does it mean? Maybe many of you know the meaning of it. Otherwise, let me explain. Summative assessment is the traditional way of assessing. Like maybe most of you might have been assessed during your graduation and your post-graduation. Right? What we term as the semester end assessment. Now, as you might have already experienced, and as a teacher, you will experience it more now, that if you remain confined to summative assessments, students are not motivated to learn during the entire semester. It gives birth to a tendency to study at the last moment and somehow manage a score to pass out and going to the next semester. NEP says no. The assessment should better be formative, which means it should be regular. Every week there may be an assessment. Every third day there may be an assessment. And hardly there is any summative assessment at the end. So for example, rather than assessing somebody for 100 marks at the end of the at the end of the semesters, we may assess the same person 20 times during the semester. Every time it is a 5 marks assessment. 5, 5, 5, 5, 20 times makes 100. But this has serious implications. Right. First is that you should decide that what would be the assessment's frequency in your case. So like many institutions have already adopted this model, they are going for monthly or fortnightly assessments of these students. You may imagine that how frequent are going to be the assessments. Now, once the assessments are that frequent, implication is the full support of teaching and non-teaching staff is required to the college or university if they want to make this formative assessment strategy successful. Both teaching and non-teaching I have mentioned. because lot of administrative work will be there, lot of assessment work, lot of question paper setting work will be rising. Right? So this would be one very important implication for teachers. Extensive use of information and communication technology, ICT, to make the system economic, convenient, reliable, and quick. Right? You should appreciate that in this situation, when we have to go for formative assessment, and it's going to raise burden on us as faculty members, the panacea to the whole problem is ICT, information and communication technology. Because if this is effectively used, it will make the system, as these four words are indicated, it will make the system economic, convenient also, reliable also, and quick in any case it will be. Like you must have noticed that many central level examinations are now totally paperless. It's all through computers only that all assessments are being made. Because the compilation of result is easy, evaluation, putting marks is easy, follow-up and review of the assessments are easy. So therefore, I would definitely recommend extensive use of ICT in order to achieve this target of N. Next. A strong public education system along with private and community participation. So what does the NEP say regarding public versus private education system in India? Right, what does the NEP say? As you can see this title here, NEP says the public education system in India must be strong, but side by side it permits the existence of private and community participation in the education system. That means the NEP permits existence of private institutions, private colleges, universities in the country quite a lot. Community participation, also similar to private one, is also permitted. But at the same time, it demands that the public education system should be equally strong. Now, some of the implications which I should discuss with you are here. The NEP says that there will be no profiteering by private sector. Fee cannot be excessive. With this condition, only private sector will be permitted to participate in the system of higher education. Now, this point has wide range of, I would say, implications. How do we ensure that profiteering will not be done by private sector? Okay, much of it you all may be knowing already. Maybe some of you are employees of a private education system at the moment. Some figures which I have just heard here and there, I have no confirmation that whether these figures are correct. Subject to my saying this, I would like to tell you that I have been informed by some reliable sources that in the country, the medical education in particular has become extremely costly. For an undergraduate MBBS seat in a private college, fee is around 1 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, 100 lakh rupees. And they say that this has been decided by the government bodies, committees appointed by the government. The other day, somebody told me that for post-graduation in the medical colleges, which are privately run, you have to pay so much of um, money, uh, you know, to those to whom you should not pay. What I mean to say is that if 1 crore and the post graduation, some trades fees approaching 2.5 crores even. At least this is not as per the NEP that this excessive profiteering should take place. Recently, I heard that some high courts in the country have intervened into the system, and they said that no, we should rationalize the fee again. Profiteering cannot be afforded. Single agency should exercise firm and effective control on both. This is also an implication. There should be an agency, a single agency. We should exercise firm and effective control both on public and private sector colleges. I don't say that the public education system need not be so well controlled, because it will automatically be functioning in an efficient manner. Definitely not. Public education system also needs equally good controlling, effective controlling. So in order to achieve this target, that both public and private education system should be strong, this is what is required. Going to the next point. Now, friends, this particular point is very near to us, the faculty members. The NEP, uses 4 important adjectives here: motivated, energetic, capable, and accountable faculty members. Right? So you can understand. Now we are talking something which is directly relevant for you. What type of faculty members NEP wants you all to be there? First, it says they should be motivated. They should be energetic. They should be capable, and at the same time, they should be accountable. Friends, before that I show certain points to you here, I would just request you to visualize a situation of your college days as students. Believe that the classes which you have joined as students had all such teachers only, which were all having all these attributes in them. Maybe if I ask you to visualize that and you go back into your old days, you are not somewhere satisfied with the type of teachers you had actually, in terms of these 4 characteristics. Are you sure that all the teachers which you got in your life were all really motivated? They were. Do you think that they all were adequately energetic? Do you also feel that as a student they were all equally capable? And also, were they actually all were adequately accountable to the profession? I'm sure if you really be true to the word, you may find that no, large number of them were there, yes, but not all. To me, it appears that these 4 adjectives which NEP has used for faculty members, if the country can really ensure these 4 things in our entire faculty spectrum, perhaps the education system is going to improve like anything. Somewhere, in some of these attributes, we are lacking here and there. So, what can be discussed in this regard? First thing is that a standardized recruitment system at national level, which leads to more transparency and reliability in recruitment of teachers, is required. As I've said, this recruitment system should be standardized. Because many a time we find that there are question marks on the transparency of the recruitment system, the reliability of the recruitment system. Those particularly who couldn't get it, who couldn't be selected, who couldn't join as a selected teacher somewhere, would always raise hue and cry about the non-transparency and non-reliability of the recruitment system. So if we want that the faculty members should have these attributes, this is the first implication that I would like to share with you. Further, this is suggested that inbreeding in the educational institutions, which often takes place everywhere in the country, it should be avoided. And if it can be avoided, we may really ensure even better teachers than what we are having now. Inbreeding means that you studied in Guwahati University during your graduation, you did your post-graduation also from there, you had your PhD guide from the Guwahati University, and then later on, by God's grace and the blessings of all your teachers, you were appointed as assistant professor in the same university, got promoted as associate professor, became dean, director, head there. Maybe sometimes you have become vice chancellor of the same university. This is what is the inbreeding. Now, you see, there is no harm as such when we say that somebody who studied there with his own alma mater, the person has got engaged as a teacher. But this is not an ideal situation, my dear friends. I would definitely like to remind you of the system which the Indian civil servants have in their recruitment and postings. Perhaps most of you are aware of that. For the civil servants, the IAS cadre, what they do, they make, after examination, they make a particular cadre for every officer. And according to cadre only, for most part of your life in the services, you are posted. For example, there may be some IAS in Assam who is a Rajasthani. There may be a Bengali fellow who is serving in Madhya Pradesh in IAS cadre. Somebody from Tamil Nadu serving in Jammu Kashmir as IAS officer, because he is in that cadre. Now, what's happening in those, services? Both these bullet points which I'm showing you here. There is a standardized recruitment system for them, we know. And then based on their choices and the merit available, cadres are decided. In many cases, there is a ban on certain officer to join his own community, his own district at all. Something similar to that should come in the higher education system also. Let there be a standardized recruitment at the top level, and let there be a distribution of cadres into the faculty members so that this inbreeding may be avoided. Motivating and conducive environment has to be ensured for faculties in any institution. Now, the point which we are discussing is only talking about the environment in the institution, which is being provided to the faculty members. Friends, this may be an urgent call. I'll just take your permission for a moment. Hello. Haji. हाँ, मैंने आपको मैसेज किया था. मैं now I am retired. आप मेरी इंस्टीट्यूशन में बात करें, मैं जॉब में नहीं हूँ। नंबर साहब मुझे याद नहीं, आप एक लैंडलाइन नंबर लिख लें, 2411408408। ये यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स का नंबर है, जहां मैं डीन था ना, वहां बात करें। थैंक यू। आ जाए। In fact, there is a public examination to be held here, statewide. And since I was the dean of the faculty, my number is there with them. So they were inquiring from me that when the examination can be conducted or not. Anyway. Now, when I say that the motivating and conducive environment should be provided to the teachers, right? You already are in the profession, and I hope you have already spent 6 to 8 or 10 months or 1 year as assistant professor. And you can very well explain to me what is the environment which motivates you and which appears conducive. You see, like everything that a teacher demands, a teacher should have, a decent environment to work in, a nice, proper place to sit, reasonably good infrastructure, behavior of the persons around should be respectable to the teacher. Okay, the teacher should feel like going to the institution and teaching. The administrative support to the teacher is provided, etc. If you want to maintain motivating teachers into the institution. Related with this is the excessive administrative burden for faculty members has to be avoided. Now, I'm not sure whether you could appreciate the point which I'm making here, because you are particularly very new teachers. So therefore, keeping in view your experiences, possible experiences, let me elaborate this point, little more. See, the service profile, the job profile which we faculty members have in colleges and universities do include administrative work. So whenever in your institution you are assigned, a duty in some administrative committee or some examination work to be supervised and such things, you should never shirk the responsibility. It is part of our job, right? All these administrative things we have to ensure on our own. One moment. कौन है? आगे क्या? ले. अंदर आए. मेरा लेक्चर चल रहा है 3 बजे तक है ना, तो ये ले लो. पता नहीं क्या करना है. ठीक है, मैं 3 बजे आता हूँ. Yeah, sorry, that was a little interruption. But what I'm trying to mention here is that the administrative load should not be of the order of overburdening a faculty member. Right? Load is required. That is part of the job. But in many cases, we find that it becomes counterproductive for a faculty position. In fact, since I have been for long decades into this profession, I have hundreds of such examples from all parts of the country, where the administrative load was impairing into the faculty positions, abilities, motivation, energies, quite a lot. So that has to be taken care of. Okay? Yeah, this is completing. So this slide I would like you to relook before going to the next slide. Maybe we spend 2 more minutes on this slide. Dear friends, when we say that the teacher should be kept motivated, and when we say that they have their rights to be taken care of, when we expect them to be energetic, when we ensure that their recruitment system should be transparent and reliable. At the same time, we also say, and the policy also says that they have to be accountable. Now, I don't mean to say that the teachers are not non-accountable. No. But one thing I would definitely put before you, that this is something which you should ask yourself. I am a firm believer that the faculty members' positions in universities and colleges is such that perhaps doesn't need any control or outside monitoring, because they are themselves the faculty members. They are supposed to show path to the others, that what is right and what is wrong. They are supposed to be role models for their students. Students should just follow them, that's all. That is the education. But the point is whether every faculty member is adequately accountable to all these attributes as I am discussing with you. To my mind, perhaps not. So what would be the ideal position? Because let us talk about ideal positions only so far. You as the fleet of young faculty members, definitely very knowledgeable, bright persons you are. But dear friends, you have to be accountable also. You know that what are your duties, how much devoted you should be towards all these things that you are supposed to do. And the best way, again, I would say, to ensure it is that let there be an introspection. Let there be an introspection. Let me answer to my own conscience whether I am an accountable teacher or not. Because unless you are accountable, the whole education system is going to rely on capabilities of you only. Okay, so in case you have some questions, as I already said, you are very free to ask me in the last 10 minutes time. Let me come to other points also. Multidisciplinary educational and research universities, which can be abbreviated as MERU, M-E-R-U, is the idea which national education policy is throwing about. They are actually what type of universities they are planning? They are like big sized institutions. All disciplines are being covered into these universities, and those who are those students who are planning to join multiple variety of courses, sometimes even additional courses, sometimes part-time courses, and in their own curriculum they want maximum flexibility, then the idea of MERU is going to be definitely very useful. But so far as its implementation is concerned, okay, how faculty members should consider, you know, relevant aspects of this MERU. An initial alternative, because you see, to convert all the universities and colleges into MERU in Indian conditions may not be easy task, or at least it may take some long years. Therefore, it is mentioned here that an initial alternative may be to create conglomerate of existing universities and colleges to improve mutual cooperation therein. Because still we have affiliated colleges and there are universities, large number of universities, large number of colleges. Okay, so one way in order to reach the target of Meru in the times to come. It may be a solution that we create conglomerates of the universities along with their colleges, and so that their mutual cooperation and interaction improves, which ultimately would help in a multidisciplinary educational system required. So what does it mean? Means that, say, we are offering, the choice-based credit system, CBCS, to students now. Many of you during your student life also might have experienced the CBCS system. Now, many times this CBCS is not possible for the simple reason that, that type of variety is not available. Now, when they say that let there be multidisciplinary educational institutions, this would be possible. But for that, to begin with, as I have suggested, let there be conglomerates of the colleges and universities together, so that interaction improves and we can serve the requirements of the students' community in a befitting manner. Next, National Mentoring Mission. Now, this is something which I find among various points of the NEP a very innovative idea. Now, what does it mean? Let me first explain that to you, then I will discuss some strategies and implications of the mission. The NEP says that what's happening is that there is a superannuation age for faculty members in our country, right? Like you take my own example. I have also superannuated from my regular services, right? But still I have lust for serving the students' community, imparting knowledge, whatever little I have, to others, right? And as a whole in the country, if you look at over past decades, the average age is also fortunately rising. So there is a big bank of those personnel, faculty members who have now got retired. The mission says, let all these seniors be mentors to the education system. Right? So a very, very significant idea. Certain implications. First is that term appointments should be, this should be I, not you, APPOINT. This is a misprint here. Right. So for those who are already superannuated, only term appointments may be provided, right? Depending on their physical and mental fitness, till it is provided. You may be aware that in most parts of the Western world, particularly, retirement age is sometimes not at all there. Like, there is a teacher who is 85 years plus, and he or she has been a Nobel laureate, and his or her chamber is there in the university. The person, despite of the age and the physical weakness, is coming very much and sitting. People are coming, students and younger faculties are coming, discussing with him or her and learning, and that way the mission of education is going ahead. Right. So, in fact, I was told that in some countries in Europe, that particular university is famous for Nobel Awards in chemistry. So I was told that in that university you will find several Nobel laureates, being in the faculty, but they are now pretty old in age. Still, the university is keeping them, their chambers, their names, right, intact to, take mentoring services from them. So these two, let me go back saying that what are the implications here? That you, the faculty members who are not at the mentoring stage for the moment, should utilize this facility as per the NEP for benefit of the institution and benefit of the students. Foreign collaborations. In fact, foreign collaborations used to be there in our country even earlier also. Right? This may not be something very new, but undoubtedly one thing has to be said, that the way foreign collaborations path has been tried to be paved in the NEP, perhaps it is unprecedented. It has never happened earlier. I mean, it's another welcoming move. You may be aware about this regulation. Right? UGC has already issued. In case you are not aware, sometime you may surf the site of UGC and you can find it. UGC has now permitted all the three types of twinning, dual, and joint degree programs. It's already permitted now. Okay, so shall I explain the three things little here? Of course, you may refer to the site, and all definitions and detailed examples, everything is given. Let me briefly tell you about it in case you do not know. The twinning programs which the UGC is permitting now are the programs in which you may send your students to some foreign country during the semester going on in India, right, just to gain some knowledge or study for some time and come back. So that way, the degree is being provided by the Indian university or institution, and foreign collaboration, foreign assistance and value addition is also available. While in case of dual degree programs, the Indian institution will join hands with some foreign institution, and both institutions in an arrangement will provide dual degrees to the candidate. That means, suppose X university in foreign country and A university in India have, had an idea, an MOU sort of thing regarding the dual degree from both of them. Under that arrangement, after the candidate has fulfilled the requirements of examination and credits, the candidate will be given 2 degrees both of X university of the foreign country and A university of India at the same time. In the third arrangement, which is called joint degree programs, using the same example which I was using earlier, X institution of say Europe and A institution of India both sit together and design a joint degree, part of which the students will learn in Europe, part of which the students will learn in India, and finally a joint degree of X and A university, for example, will be provided to the candidate. Okay, so these things are already available. We have to be aware about them, trying to provide these facilities to our students as much as possible. Rigor of curriculum and examination to match international standards. That is a great challenge, and I would also say opportunity for the faculty members. Both the curriculum and examination rigors are in focus here. If you will agree with me, see, that if we really want to join hands with foreign institutions, which may be already established, reputed institutions in foreign countries, particularly those, because you see all institutions, even in the foreign countries, are not as good as the remaining ones. But the point is that if we want to sit with those higher level institutions, one minute. Yeah. Nobody is going to accept the collaboration with Indian institutions being, of little poor quality in terms of their curriculum and examination standards. So what is required here is for us as faculty members is to uplift the level of our curriculum and our rigor in our examinations so that it matches with the international quality. Right? I mean, this goes without saying. Who will accept, our collaborations otherwise? Then, I think, yeah, it's a different point. So, though both are related, right? So, this much about the foreign collaborations. Now, let us go to call for a study in India. Again, talking in terms of the foreign students. Much is being talked about, the, as they say, the brain drain from India. That our intelligentsia is being drained outside. People who are bright, who have used the domestic Indian resources for learning, for education. Finally, after completing their graduation, their education, are moving out. Another aspect is that in the fray that foreign education is an attractive proposition for Indians. Like as per as estimate, something like 11 lakh students roughly are studying in India, outside India right now. They say that how many billions of dollars are being spent on it. I don't exactly remember the figure, but the figure is pretty high. Maybe it is some $10 billion or something. I'm not sure about the figure actually, but it's a bulky figure. Point is that the Indians are getting attracted towards foreign education, and not only brain, but money is also drained in the process. They say that if that whole money could have been utilized for establishing world-class institutions in India itself, there would have been hardly any need to drain the money like this. Therefore, the NEP also talks about the call for study in India. Rather than our students getting attracted towards the foreign countries for education, why should we not attract students from outside? And here, particularly these places of the world may be targeted first. Africa, Middle East, and Far East may be initially focused. So that we get good students from these places. Of course, this is still being done. In my own university here, during my entire career, actually, I would say that we used to have African students in particular. Some students from Middle East, from Sudan and Arabian countries also, but they were few. But from African countries, we used to have, from particularly Kenya, Namibia, and some students from Nigeria also used to come to our university for studying. In fact, I've been teaching them an undergraduate and postgraduate classes, and one or two have done doctorate also under my supervision. So I know that how this sort of attraction for study in India used to be there. But now there is a call, and in a more pronounced way, we are supposed to do this thing. Further, the implication is that faculty-students exchange practices are required to be encouraged. Because the point is that unless somebody appreciates the quality of the material lying in my shop, how the person is going to get attracted towards my shop, right? On the similar way is the field of education. Let me show my institution, my education system, my teaching to the faculties and students who are from outside India. Let them first appreciate my qualities. So therefore, such exchanges, in order to improve the call for study in India move, are to be encouraged. And as we know, a very famous dictum, think global and act local. So we are acting locally, but we have to think globally. We must be aware what's happening outside India. We must be aware what are the standards of curriculum outside India. We must be aware what are the standards of examination outside India. What are the standards of giving exposure to the students outside India. Next, how much time? Yeah, there are about 17-18 minutes remaining. So I'll continue for about 10 minutes, and then, as I have said earlier, I'll request you for your questions. Vocational and employment-oriented education is a major aspect of education, national education policy. You will agree that somewhere, I mean, the education which we have been providing as per our existing system in India was not employment-oriented. And every time lot of hue and cries about the government jobs, examinations for government jobs. They say that as per a rough estimate, the number of candidates who appear in government related examinations, job seeking, is perhaps some 20 crores or something. And the job which they actually get is hardly 2 lakh, something like that. That means it is much less than 0.1%. What is this? Are we really not frustrating our youth by making them hardly employable? Is it not very important to give them employment-oriented skills? Right. Therefore, this suggestion is that such contents to identify and practical exposure to ensure. I mean, the teachers must identify what contents would be relevant to make them vocation ready, and practical exposure to the things have to be ensured so that the education becomes employment oriented. Full vocational programs be encouraged. Collaboration with professional institutions for faculty for teaching and faculty development purposes is required. Now, let me give you some idea about what UGC has done in this regard in the yesteryears. UGC has proposed a list of BVoc and MVoc programs, Bachelor of Vocation, Master of Vocation programs, full complete graduation and post-graduation programs. I don't know whether some of you were aware about this development, and also whether in your university or college such programs are being run, right? But there are programs because now they have the UGC recognition. The entire degree is known as BVoc, you know, for graduation, rather than being called BA, BSc, BCom, B Pharma, BCA. No, it is called BVoc, entirely devoted to vocation. Maybe it's a good information for you. Let me also add one piece of information to this. Of course, all these details you can search on the websites and find out. That in these vocational graduation programs, UGC has already recommended a 60-40 ratio of practical and theory. That means, say for example, if the entire graduation curriculum which you are going to teach, say in 6 semesters of graduation, 5 courses in each semester you are teaching, so that way you are teaching 30 courses. Okay. The UGC scheme of BVoc says that out of this 30, as many as 60% should be practical oriented. That means out of 30, 18 courses should be run in the practical environment, and remaining 12 should be done in how many? if I say 60%, then 18, and 40%, then 12. Yes, definitely. So 18 in the laboratory, 12 in the theory classes. That much practical input UGC is requiring. So for that, this is suggested that collaboration with professional institutions for faculty for teaching and faculty development purposes is required. Because you see, the academic teachers like you particularly may not be oriented towards practices and vocation, and maybe the truly employable skills may not be aware, because you are experts of your subject at the philosophical level, at the higher. But since this is required, the promotion of vocational and employment-oriented education, it's very important that collaboration with professional institutions must be had, and faculty should be developed for the purpose. There are a few more points in this. Upliftment of subject content, examination rigor, etc. for vocational courses. Yeah, there is one more bullet which will now come. I mean, this is the animation slightly disturbed here. Let us discuss this point in the moment. That what happens that whenever it's a vocational program, they say that the course need not be uplifted, and why examination should be that strict, because students are ultimately going to join a vocation, right? But what I have said here is the faculties must ensure that the rigor of vocational program is also adequate. And under CSR activities, certain percentage of positions of internship. Okay, let me elaborate it. CSR is the social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. There is a law in India which says that certain percentage, which is actually 2%, of the profits earned by a corporate house must be spent on social responsibilities. Right? That means there is a law that the companies have to satisfy the social cause. What I'm proposing here is that we should see that these institutions, rather than giving money, they should give opportunities of internships to our young chaps so that they are equipped practically. I think some more points. Separate research and teaching universities are required. You see, to understand this point also, you may be a little younger actually. What happens, dear friends, that we as the higher education faculties are supposed not only to teach, but also to continuously do research. Now UGC has come up, and NEP has also come up with the idea that let us separate these functions. There may be universities which are focusing more on teaching, less on research, and there are other institutions which are focusing more on research and less on teaching. So the implication is that recruitment and promotion needs to be designed suitably, because promotion will depend on, in case of teaching, only teaching, research, only research. At the moment, what's happening is that even when you are a good teacher, you have to become a good researcher for completing the requirements of promotions. Teaching and research in indigenous languages. Good quality journals in indigenous languages are required, though you expect that Assamese, for example, Bengali, for example, should be the language of instruction, and it should be promoted. Yes, idea is not bad, but we have to develop good language journals in India in these subjects. Yeah, so by this completing, let me see. Yeah, almost the time that I target. So friends, thank you very much. You have been patiently listening to me, I hope. And this is my mail ID. In case you need, you may interact with me on this. And with this, now I'm closing my PPT and would request the coordinators to coordinate the questions now.
So dear friends.
Oh, you are here?
Yeah, sir. I come back after meeting.
So please raise the questions in case the candidates have. I have 10 minutes time to deal with them.
So far, no questions. So friends, just put some question for sir.
because that only indicates that I could be effective and they were listening carefully both. Yeah.
So, dear participants, just put some questions in chat box or Q&A box so that sir may respond to this.
And if they are not asking questions, and if your system permits, I would like to ask a question to these participants,
Yes,
which
sir, yes,
I would request them to reply into the chat box.
chat box. Okay.
Maybe if you permit them to come on the video.
Video actually is not in our hands, sir. It is HRDC is controlling that. So
Okay,
this is
fine.
already that is programmed like this. So they may not get access, but you may ask question and they may put it in chat box.
In the chat box, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, dear participants, in fact, during my delivery, I was talking to you regarding the aspect of motivated teachers, right? This is one of the aspects which I was elaborating on, that the NEP needs, okay? So please put one reason, one thing which you as a faculty member would become a motivated teacher if the institution provides to you. Okay, so what would be your answer? Just one most important thing which motivates you to be a motivated teacher, which makes you a motivated teacher in your institution. Just put in your chat box, and maybe the coordinators of the program would take cognizance of such response, like the classroom participation, as we assess them.
Yes.
In case you respond, yeah.
Yes, yes, certainly, sir. Actually, their interactions are part of their evaluation.
It has to be there. I mean, then only we can ensure the effectiveness of the program, isn't it? So anybody who could answer my question, what would make you a motivated teacher?
So far, no response, friends. Just thank you, sir, and yes, sir is not enough. Write the thing what sir is asking.
Yeah, they're just thanking me. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That may not make sense, my dear friends. Yeah.
One person, Biplov Das, has written good quality education.
Yes. You see, quality education is not the point. What I'm asking is, let me clarify, which I was elaborating also in quite a detail, that NEP wants teachers in colleges and universities to be motivated teachers. Right? Let me elaborate a little. I think that is justified. That when we go to a class, we always, you all might have started experiencing it in your early career, that we always expect that the student should be responsive. They should be motivated to learn. Right? If they are sitting with dull faces throughout, then we do not feel like teaching them. At least we do not feel like working hard. My question is, and that's what NEP wants, how teachers can be motivated to teach. I should have a zeal that, no, today I'll go and teach the best I can. So what will make you motivated?
Higher education and broad research.
Some question is there? Yeah. What's that?
Higher education and broad research, that may not be the motivator. Motivator means what may motivate us to be.
Higher education and what the person says? What else?
Broad research.
Not that. Not
on the point.
Not on the point. I think perhaps they couldn't appreciate that. I think, Bhartenduji, let me spend a minute on
Student-centered.
Huh?
Student-centered.
Yes, yeah, that may be a good answer. Yes. See, when you say it is student-centric, I would rather say this. In fact, Bhartenduji, do you remember? You were there those days, no? When I was in Mizoram.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, our vice chancellor that time used to use this very commonly. He used to every time say, teachers have to be student-centric in Mizoram. Yes. Which is a very, very appropriate word. When you say that, yes, this will motivate you, this is a good answer. Like what happens, see, when you go to a class, why do you feel motivated to teach And why do you feel motivated to teach better than what you were teaching earlier? Actually, these are your students. They make you motivated. Like for example, in this session, suppose I don't really blame you. You are all very good teachers. I just am using it as an example. That suppose at the moment when I requested you that, okay, Bhartenduji, are there questions? He would have said, sir, there is a long list of questions waiting for your answer. You can understand I would have been quite motivated to talk to you, isn't it? Of course, this is just one session. But when we are in a regular class and a student's response is better, it really motivates us. So that's a good answer. Any other response, please?
So far, nothing, sir.
No. So maybe it is post-lunch session, some impact. Don't know. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay,
so tell me anything else. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Then a few more questions are not coming, so we may conclude this session here. And thank you, sir, for sparing your time. I know you were busy with some other work, and somehow you have, I think, postponed or preponed your other work, and you gave time to us for this session. That shows that you are still connected with our institution, sir. Mizoram University is your own university, and your first slide also mentioned that Mizoram University's name was there. So that is the value you give us, and that is why we keep on calling you on every such occasions whenever we get a chance. Thank you, sir, for always being with us, and in future also we continue with this association. And with this, on behalf of all the participants, I say thanks to you. Thanks for joining, sir.
Thank you, Bhartenduji, and I wish the university, to you in person, and all the participants good luck, good future. Okay, we'll see each other later. Thank you.